If you've been with us before on the deep dive, we analyze these complex stacks of documents to uh, give you the clearest path to the core truth.
But today, that truth is, well, it's a lot stranger than fiction.
It really is. We're deep diving into a highly classified military report, and it's cryptically named Triad the Lunar Defense.
And what immediately jumps out is just the paradox of it all. This is not your standard intelligence briefing. Not at all.
No.
The core of this high-level report is made up of basically three things: forensic analysis of wildly antiquated tech, transcriptions of this single vicious audio recording, and then a string of cryptic ciphers.
Life is about time and theology, of all things.
Why?
So our mission today for you is
Yeah.
to unpack the initial findings, the ones from Recon 35 and Intel.
And they're acting under direct orders from someone they only referred to as the cyborg captain.
Right, which is a whole other thing. But the central mystery here, it's not just what they found.
No, it's the why. Why is a modern, a future-facing defense operation dedicating massive resources to events that happened about 54 years ago?
In this small, completely abandoned town called Draperia, deep inside a restricted zone.
It's a remarkable forensic job. The source data cross-references everything: regional archives, old hard copy notes, electronic forensics.
It's a literal splicing of analog history and digital detection.
And to really understand what Intel is looking for, you have to start at the human level with that first dramatic finding.
So let's dive into that first extraction. It's the most visceral piece of evidence, and it's preserved on, the most basic media you can imagine.
A cassette tape.
A 60-minute Sony TC55 BASF Type I cassette. The report notes that this tape covers a huge spread of time, and they indexed it using an astronomical calendar system.
Yeah, the Julian range.
Julian range, 2441-1816.5 to 244-2546.5.
And for anyone listening who's not familiar with that, the Julian range is a super precise way of indexing dates. It's for astronomy, for looking at huge spans of time.
So the fact they're logging this, what seems like a petty crime, using a calendar like that.
It just shows you how crucial time is to this whole defense operation.
And what's fascinating about the tape itself is the duration. The analysts, they extracted over 15.5 minutes of audio.
But the report only focuses on 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Right. It suggests that this one short moment is the flashpoint. It's the key to the whole mystery.
And it throws you right into the drama. The conversation is this brutal confrontation between four young men: Joshua, Ray, Michael, and James.
It opens with Joshua immediately seeing the danger. He says, "Whoa, dude, what's with the gun?"
And Ray, he's the aggressor. He's the brother of a girl named Mika, and he is there for answers.
Yeah, he's demanding to know what happened 2 years ago. He's convinced they were responsible. He says, "Same three of you seen in my neighborhood before Stay went down."
He's not there for a conversation. He's there for retribution. He threatens to do all three of you right now. The tension is just, it's off the charts.
Michael tries to play the diplomat, calm things down.
But that just sets the stage for the violence.
And the transcript doesn't leave anything to your imagination. The report just itemizes the sounds.
Thud, gunshot, breaking glass, louder thud, glass hitting floor, moaning.
Ray is wounded. He's bleeding, trying to crawl away. But this is where the really strange, sort of selfish human element kicks in.
Michael's first reaction.
It's not about the bleeding man or calling for help. It's about his shattered bottle of liquor.
He yells, "I just bought that bottle, by the way. You owe me a fifth." It's chilling.
It anchors this entire massive report in this one desperate, selfish priority of a teenager.
And that priority connects to the deeper mystery, the 50-year-old mystery of Mika. Ray is her brother, and suddenly the other guys realize this isn't just a local fight.
Michael asks about her family and brings up the fact that Mika's dad was a deputy or an investigator from the West Coast.
Right, and James confirms it. He says the father left the force about 8 years before all this because of some kind of scandal.
That's a critical detail. This wasn't some random tragedy. It involved a prominent family with a history in law enforcement, public controversy.
And Michael puts it together. He realizes they're not just in a fight anymore. They could be seen as murderers on top of whatever else they want to pin on us.
The panic just takes over. It becomes a desperate cover-up.
If Ray's alive, bind and gag him. If he's dead, cover him with boxes. They're terrified.
They may be outside as we speak. They're rushing to destroy evidence, but then Michael remembers the twist.
The damning twist.
He says, "Shh, I forgot we were recording our practice session. James, stop it and hold on to it with your life."
And the tape just cuts off.
Right there. It's an abrupt end. And we know all four of them, Joshua, Ray, Michael, and James. They were locals. They lived in Draperia, in the restricted zone.
It's so intense. You have this 5-decade-old human tragedy preserved perfectly on a strip of magnetic tape.
So if you're Intel, looking at this raw analog violence, how do you pivot that into a lunar defense operation?
That is the question. How does a bloody cover-up become the foundation for a futuristic defense report?
To get that, we have to move from the human paranoia of the tape to the cold digital certainty of the second extraction.
And the scene shifts completely. The digital data wasn't in Draperia.
No, it was found 30 miles deeper into the zone at an abandoned AT&T Bell Labs facility.
And this is where you see the resources they're pouring into this. Recon 35 didn't just find a flash drive.
Not at all. They had to effectively build a museum wing just to power this stuff on.
They're interfacing with ancient specialized equipment,
Mhm.
a DEC PDP-1120, old analog to digital converters from the 70s, a BEC RK05 storage drive. I mean, it's painstaking work.
They had to resurrect this vintage gear to access the next piece of the puzzle.
And what they found inside that long-dead drive connects the Draperia tragedy directly to the future.
Data logs, 2 epic timestamps, but more importantly, this massive hyper-specific projection number, 1,768,089,480.
And the text file that goes with it, it doesn't leave anything up to interpretation.
No, it spells it out. That number represents a projection. 54 years, 150 days, 6 hours, 10 minutes, 9.68 seconds into the future.
The 54-year span, that immediately links the crime on the analog tape to a single specific moment in the future.
The team that left this data, they knew exactly what they were doing.
What's really fascinating, though, is they didn't just leave raw data. They left philosophical framing devices. 2 quotes.
And these quotes just inject doubt into the whole thing.
The first one is from Ken Kesey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
But it's the truth, even if it didn't happen.
which right away suggests that this whole intelligence operation might be based on a fabricated yet somehow meaningful incident.
And the second quote is, "It's particularly unnerving, especially when you remember this operation is run by someone called the Cyborg Captain."
It's HAL 9000 from 2001, A Space Odyssey.
I know I've made some very poor decisions recently, but I can give you my complete assurance that my work will be back to normal.
So the vintage computer is predicting the future while also expressing severe doubt about its own recent judgment. It's bizarre.
The implication is just enormous. The entire lunar defense is built on analyzing data that may or may not be real and whose digital source admits it's fallible.
And that feeling of distrust leads us straight into the third extraction, the ciphers.
Yeah, Intel notes that the data logs were just saturated with date, time, and religious references.
And they describe it as a seemingly common modus operandi among humans. The coders intentionally made this complex. They laced it with their own personal markers.
Let's break some of those down. They reference 2 specific dates tied to the band The Who.
July 17th, 1971, the U.S. release of Won't Get Fooled Again, and August 14th, 1971, the release of The Who's next album.
They're perfect cultural anchors for the era when Ray was shot.
But then those historical dates clash with the future projection date, Saturday, January 10th, 2026.
Everything is so temporally specific.
Yeah.
There are 3 exact timestamps. 3.54.22 p.m., which appears twice.
And 11.58.000 p.m., which is deliberately labeled 2 minutes to midnight.
Right. And then you add this cosmic layer on top of it all.
The moon phases, waning crescent twice and quarter 3.
So you have to imagine this. They're using rock music, specific minutes of the day, and the lunar cycle to mark this one future moment.
It's an incredibly precise but really eccentric way of logging data.
And that eccentricity just continues right into the decoding phase.
The text files have both mathematical and religious ciphers, and they reveal the coder's intent.
Okay, so let's look at the first one. They derived a command from Psalm 95.5, King James Version.
The sea is his, and he made it, and his hands formed the dry land.
And they pulled a statement of command out of that using the 3rd and 14th words both forwards and in reverse.
This isn't just decoration, it's an attempt to tie their message to some kind of divine, undeniable authority, a will that can't be undone.
Exactly. But then right after that, you hit the pure, unadulterated human ego,
Math equation.
which is pretty much a tongue-in-cheek signature. It's 37.98 times pi minus 119 times 176 equals 55.913.
And Intel points out that 55, 9, and 13, phonetically, they spell out C-I-M.
C-I-M.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. So are you saying Intel is seriously suggesting that this high-level defense analysis
Mm.
It's based partly on a literal math joke that translates to, look at me, I exist.
That is precisely what the analysts concluded. It's an assertion of the coder's existence and their intellectual superiority hidden in plain sight.
It just shifts the tone from a technical investigation to an argument with a ghost.
And that assertion of existence is hammered home by the final cipher. They tell you to pull the first and last letters from Psalm 119, verses 55 and 122.
And the result, when you decode it, forms two words.
Meaning to exist.
So the entire digital mission wrapped up in rock and roll dates, moon phases, scripture, it's all a declaration of being.
It's the ultimate aha moment for the analysts. The foundation of this whole defense report is driven by the ego and the philosophical need of the original coder to confirm their own reality.
Which sets us up perfectly for the final artifact. The thematic conclusion of all this archived data, a highly structured song titled The Lunar Defense.
And the structure is just obsessive. It's like a digital blueprint. The analysts detail the whole composition.
A 9-line intro, a 16-line main intro, 7 4-line verses, an 8-line chorus.
And it all results in exactly 433 total syllables. The verses themselves are ruthlessly constrained to 7 syllables each with these specific tracked rhyme schemes.
The why behind the numbers is the insight here, I think, not just the numbers themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
This obsessive mathematical structure, it mirrors that lyric about perfect machines.
Yeah.
It suggests the coder saw pattern and precision as divine, maybe.
Or at least superior to messy human behavior, like the shooting on the analog tape.
And the lyrics of the song are where the simulation themes and the human drama finally converge.
You get phrases like simulated soul and sound.
And the observation that perfect machines do leave no room for the rest, it's a direct commentary on the intelligence operation that is now analyzing it.
The song questions the very idea of judgment, of authority. It asks, who appointed you as judge?
It brings in cosmic references to Diana, the moon or goddess, singing for the subject.
And that's contrasted with Sol, the sun or light, which the listener just sees. The universe speaks for the coder, but the earth is just indifferent.
This entire cycle, human tragedy, coded projection, philosophical song, it raises the most important question of this deep dive.
Which is, if this whole thing is about decoding the past to project the future, what tools did Recon 35 and Intel use to compile and interpret this final report?
And this is the crucial modern twist that grounds this ancient archive in our present day. The report lists all the mundane modern tools they used, Evernote, GitLab, Clidio.
But two stand out, and they confirm the bizarre, recursive nature of this whole operation.
The first is that the analysts used an AI song generator to create the final song, the Lunar Defense, based on the themes and structure they extracted.
And the second, they use Google Notebook LM specifically for fiction analysis and podcast generation.
Okay, so let me just summarize this loop for you, the listener, because it's a lot. A high-level defense report focused on a tragic event from 54 years ago.
Is being synthesized, analyzed, and understood through the lens of fiction.
Using a modern AI to generate the final thematic artifact, the song itself.
It is an analysis of a simulated soul generated by a simulated intelligence to inform a real defense initiative.
It's the ultimate deliberate loop of information, a violent human incident on analog tape.
Encrypted with vintage digital hardware using obscure ciphers and Bible verses.
Then recontextualized into an AI-generated song about artificial existence and judgment.
All under orders from the cyborg captain.
We've navigated the human tragedy of the gunshot, the stunning specificity of the vintage hardware, the philosophical ciphers telling us to exist, and this final, beautiful, and deeply unsettling AI song.
So if modern intelligence is dedicating resources to decode events that, as Kesey suggested, maybe didn't happen but still hold a profound truth,
and whose meaning is only derived through an AI's analysis of fiction,
then what does that truly mean for you as you try to seek knowledge?
it makes you question every source, doesn't it? When the line between a violent historical incident and a simulated soul is intentionally blurred, and the answer to the whole puzzle is just a declaration to exist, the knowledge you gain isn't just facts. It's a new way of defining reality itself. That's a deep dive.